Imagine a boy, a girl, and a love story that began in the 5th grade. This tale begins with a smitten boy who, despite their tender ages, was convinced that the girl was the most beautiful person in the entire world. Their friendship blossomed into something more as they grew older, yet they didn't officially start dating until they were both 25. The bond they shared was unshakable, the kind of love that novels are written about. He would tell her she was beautiful at every opportunity, even when she felt far from it. Sometimes it was so incessant that she found herself tired of hearing it. Nevertheless, their love story took a significant turn when they decided to get engaged. They were soulmates, inseparable, and their love story was the stuff of legends. As the wedding day approached, excitement and anticipation filled the air. On this day, she was an absolute angel, a vision in white, walking down the aisle towards her future. The room was filled with the soft murmuring of loved ones, their collective breaths held as they watched her glide towards the altar. Her groom, the man who had loved her since they were children, stood waiting with the bride's mother by his side. His heart pounded in his chest with anticipation, his eyes locked onto his bride, a smile stretching from ear to ear. But as she reached him, and her veil lifted to reveal her flawless face, something unexpected happened. His smile faltered, his eyes grew wide, and then he fainted. The man who had always been her rock, her constant, crumpled to the floor, turning their dream wedding into a scene of shock and confusion. As he fell, the dream wedding turned into a nightmare. In the blink of an eye, everything changed. The man who had once been her rock, her soulmate, her constant admirer, was now a stranger. The wedding day fall had cost him more than just a momentary lapse of consciousness. He was diagnosed with a mild form of amnesia. His memory, once a treasure trove of their shared moments, was now a fading canvas. He had to undergo physical therapy, relearning the simple act of walking, the complex art of talking. Every step was a struggle, every word a battle won. But it wasn't just his physical abilities that were affected. His personality had changed. The sweet, loving man she knew was replaced by a moody, often rude stranger. She was there every day in the sterile white of the hospital room, watching him fight his battles. But he didn't remember her. He didn't remember the countless times he had called her beautiful, the childhood memories they had shared, the love they had nurtured, and it hurt. It hurt more than she thought possible. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, her patience began to wane. She was losing him, losing herself. The man she loved was slipping away, replaced by a stranger. It wasn't his fault, she knew, but she was only human and her heart was breaking. One day she found herself at the brink. She couldn't do it anymore. She was tired, drained of all her strength. She knew if she left him, it would be seen as shallow, as petty. But she was at her wit's end. She needed solace, needed peace. And she found it in the arms of another man. It wasn't easy, walking away from the man she had loved since childhood. But she did it. She walked away from the hospital room, from the memories, from the broken pieces of what was once a beautiful love story. And so a year later, she walked away, seeking solace in the arms of another. Life has a funny way of surprising us, doesn't it? In the hustle and bustle of Barnes & Noble, she stumbles upon a crowd, a sea of hands reaching for copies of a new best-selling book. Curiosity piqued, she joins the horde, pulling a copy from the shelf. Her heart stops as she takes in the cover, her ex-fiancé grinning ear to ear, arm draped around a woman she recognizes, the physical therapist from the nursing home. A wave of shock washes over her, her grip on the book tightening. The title, How I Met My Soulmate, feels like a punch in the gut. Anger bubbles up, her voice rising above the chatter of the store, her new boyfriend looking on in disbelief. His pleas for her to calm fall on deaf ears. An argument ensues, escalating quickly, and before she knows it, he's gone, leaving her standing there, the book still clutched in her hands. As the shock of the discovery washed over her, she was left standing alone in the middle of Barnes & Noble, her world turned upside down.